from 2018 with a silver medal. He has achieved silver medal as well in BTech. Then he's here in Sitara, and also here he secured the first rank as well and got silver medal from the institute. He has also been fellow for CSR wing of HAL, that is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Bangalore. Then he has also worked as a student coordinator for over 2 years at APJ Abdul Kalam's Lead India 2020 initiative at Jalgaon division of Maharashtra. Then his field of interest lies in developing the water conservation measures and sustainable management plans to attain the holistic watershed development in context of strengthening rural India. He is actively involved in publications in many international conferences, previously hosted by institutions like ISC Bangalore, IIT, NIT, ministries, and state universities. So I'll now ask Aman to start the session, and we welcome you all, and thank you, Aman, for taking time out of your busy schedule. So Aman, now I hand over to you.
Thank you, Shivarant. I hope I'm audible to you and everybody.
Yes, Aman, you are audible.
Okay. Let me show my face because I'm very handsome, so you can see. Let me remove my face now, and we quickly started with the today's topic, which is very interesting: time management at Sitara. Even I never, thought of giving the talk on this kind of topic because if you ask MDT too, we have been, consistently giving lot many PPTs, but we never give PPT on these kind of topics. So it's, my fortune that I'm coming up with this kind of idea. So before I get into the details of time management at Sitara, given academics and non-academic commitments, I will request all the, MTD1 and MTD2 to please read this. Okay, so with that assumption, let us start today's presentation. I hope you have read it throughout. The disclaimer, it's a kind of disclaimer actually. So, there are several questions about Sitara, and among them, I consider myself like this is the very important question: is Sitara same as other department? And the straightforward response from me after completing my MTech is no. Sitara is not similar to other department. Yes, you have already, went to the website of Sitara. It's interdisciplinary. So whenever you will visit the website or whether you will check the syllabus of this department, you will find like there are few courses you know, but there are most of the courses you don't know. So when you join these kind of departments, you will not be, going to use your entire discipline knowledge. You will be, going to study about something which you have never heard of. Maybe some mechanical engineering subjects will be there, and a civil engineering student is expected to study those subjects too. Maybe a student from chemical engineering background will be, studying about some aspects of computer science, etc., etc. This is the beauty of Sitara, where you can see like the technology T. It is a kind of umbrella which takes into account all the technologies, all the disciplinary knowledge. But if you go to other department, let us say civil engineering department for MTech, maybe you will be going for, let us say, water resource engineering. So you will be already studying about water resource engineering. That's it. So there you will find that the base of the T is very, very, huge. It's, going very down. But in Sitara, we are not going into much of the depth. Sitara is actually going to give you a knowledge of all the disciplines. And it is you as a student to decide which particular sector you want to explore. And based on your interest, you will start exploring that particular discipline, and you will be unknowingly using the knowledge of the other disciplines as well, which is somehow missing in other departments. And that's why our responsibilities, our workloads comparatively increases with regards to other departments. Other very basic question, is coursework heavy? So minimum credit that you have to satisfy is 159. And I think this is same throughout the college, but there is a difference. When you have already completed BTech in certain discipline and you are doing MTech in a very focused discipline of that same discipline. For example, let me take the same example, water resource engineering in civil, and you are BTech in civil. And if you are really interested in water resource engineering, then definitely you will not be feeling the load of the coursework, because it is almost in the continuation of what you were actually expecting. But here, somewhere the continuity is broken and you are again supposed to study the way you were studying in BTech. So again, you become a very, kind of student, a rigid student who has to study a lot many things again. So because of which it demands time. So definitely there are some coursework at Setara where you have to devote a lot of time to make yourself, conceptually strong. Another very basic question is assignment difficult or are too many? I will say you will get some assignments which you have never done before. And when you are attempting something which you haven't done before, it surely consumes time. It surely requires your attention. And when you have to give attention to some particular subject, definitely it will consume your time. So that's the thing actually. And here comes the management, that if I have to dedicate time, then how much time I should dedicate. And this is all called the management sutras that we are going to discuss throughout this presentation. Another, very good misnomer. If assignments done in weekdays, then surely we can enjoy on weekends. Wish if I could say yes. The answer is in the next, in the next animation. Actually, what happens in Setara is like there are 5 days, 5 working days, and you will be given, lot many assignments. So you usually think like I will complete these assignments in the weekends, Saturday, Sunday. But the thing is, usually since it is lockdown, currently unlockdown period is going on. But if it would not have been there, so until 2019, all Saturday, Sundays were actually consumed in the very first semester. And the students are, are asked to go for the field visits, or the particular course instructor used to take you to the field visits. So all Saturday, Sundays usually gets consumed. Then these students actually don't get time to even complete their assignments in the weekends. So your Saturday, Sunday is for field visits. And when you return from field visits, the course instructor usually asks you to submit a report of the field visit. So hence you can see like your assignments usually gets piled up and you keep on working on your assignments itself. And it consumes a lot of time. And again, lectures are going on. And before submitting the first assignment, might you will get another assignment and another assignment. And it's not about just one course. You will get another courses, and again, parallel of courses and parallel of assignments. It will keep, engaging your all calendars. Very basic question. Do we need to worry? Of course not. In the small, letters I have mentioned, Setara is actually a very beautiful journey. I must tell you, when you are very busy, you don't know, you are exploring not many things. You are developing new skills. You are, unknowingly developing time management skills. Even you don't know, but you are managing it. Because when you wake up in the morning, I am expecting that you wake up in the morning. But if in case you are waking up in the morning, then you can, ask yourself like, what are the tasks that I have to do throughout the day? If you would have been in some another department, might this much load would not have been there. Might you will be already aware about the course which is actually taught. So you have already preliminary ideas how to go for it. But sometimes in Setara, it is happening like whatever is taught is never heard before. And therefore it becomes all exploratory. And therefore I take pleasure. I have pleasure not to say or not to use the phrase, welcome to IIT Bombay. But I am very happy, at this period of time to welcome all the MT21 to Setara. Because I personally feel coming to Setara and coming to IIT Bombay may not be the two same thing. It's a topic of debate. You can debate with me later in the question answer hour. But yes, welcome to Setara. Now another very basic question that I tried addressing in this slide is what all I can do being Setarite. Studies. A very commonsensical response. Now, this is a question actually, whether I should go for position of responsibilities, whether I should be on the organizing side of an event, or whether I should become a good participant in the particular event. It's a choice that you have to take. If you go for POR, position of responsibilities, then remember you have to give your entire semester, because that particular organization will be keep organizing several events and your presence is must required. However, if you want to become a good participant, the condition is different. You will be participating in some specific event which does not demand much of your time. So you will be dedicating your some time and you will get some award if you are a really good participant, or at least a participation certificate. So becoming a good participant does not consume much time, but becoming a POR is a kind of responsibility and you have to think twice before accepting a POR. I must tell you, students of Sitara are very dynamic and they can get any kind of POR of the institute. This is what I believe actually. And I keep confidence in the students of Sitara. But the thing is, they may fail to continue with that same POR and they may resign in some time. This happened to me basically. In the very first semester, I took not many PORs. You will not believe I was having 4 PORs in the very first semester, and that too in different departments. One was technical, another was sports, another was cultural, and there was one more, ELIT, English Learning Improvement Training Program. I literally failed to cope up with my assignments, coursework, and handling these 4 PORs. So what happened in the midway, I resigned from the 2 PORs. And actually this actually creates a kind of a disturbance to the entire the way the entire organization is going on, where they misses some very important personality like the POR position. Then it is very difficult for them to conduct another sort of interviews and elect the other, for the same POR they need to elect another person from the other department or somewhere else. So that's the thing actually. So sometimes what happens when we are in the very first semester, we are in very good josh, we think like we can do anything. But this is the point of caution. Of course, you can go for PG Culturals. I hope the MTT 1 must have seen me anchoring in the PG Culturation 2020, and I feel fortunate enough to be in front of MTT 1 during that time. You can reply in the chat box if you have really seen me. Else, otherwise there is no meaning of showing my face to you. And your yes can actually help me to accept like, yeah, I am handsome. Again, there are PG sports. So, the thing is actually, in front of you, whether you want to become a good participant in PG Culturals or whether you want to become a good POR, whether you want to accept a POR in these two, different genres, culturals and sports. Of course, there will be Sitara affairs. Sitara has been, organizing several events throughout the year. Here is one, DTD. It is actually District Development Dialogue. Another event was there, DST. Department of Science and Technology organizes in collaboration with Sitara. There are only some dialogues, and here they actually, there is a demand of the volunteership from the Sitara students. Teachers' Day is annual event. Department Convention is annual event. Sports are there. You have to play for the Sitara sports. Parties, yes, birthday parties will be there. Farewell party, send-off parties, and if there are 25 students in a class, so there are 25 parties expected. So you need to give time for these kind of activities too, being a Sitarite. And sometimes there is no escape. Some students try to escape. No, I will not be doing volunteership in Teachers' Day because I have to do some assignment or I have to do some coursework. Don't try to escape. Try to enjoy. Of course, there were several technical affairs. If those who are very much interested, they can go for Institute Technical Committee, winter schools are there, research and development expositions are there. If you think like you did some good projects in BTech, you can bring those projects here, explore further, and start presenting it at the institute level at least for the technical affairs. Volunteership is always open. There are some very social very social bodies of student body, such as Abhyuday, Sustainability Cell, Team Zero Waste. They have been working very fantastic in our institution, and if you do volunteership there, you will get a lot of learnings. You will develop some skills as well. Abhyuday, like it always works parallel to the conceptions of Sitara. Sustainability Cell, yes, exactly, and Team Zero Waste. That's why I have mentioned these 3 names in the first hand, because they have a lot to do with Sitara, and our Sitara students have been doing very well in Sustainability Cell and Team Zero Waste. Means they actually occupied some of the position of responsibilities position in sustainability cell and team zero based. Now here is the question: inter-IIT. Shall I go for inter-IIT sports, inter-IIT culturals? Now, if you are really enthusiastic for some particular thing, then this inter-IIT competition actually demands 2-3 months of preparation, and this event used to end with and for like say 15 days or 20 days events, and this happens in some particular IIT. So if you think like you can dedicate your time for 2 to 3 months for practice and then followed by 15 to 20 days of traveling, and you will be performing in some other IITs or preferably in IIT Bombay, then you can go for inter-IIT. But if you think you can't handle, don't take this kind of risk. This I must say that that's why I'm putting question mark over there. These are some kind of risk actually. You are calling a risk to your academic affairs. So you need to be very bold while taking this decision. If you are going for inter-IIT sports, then leave other activities. Don't go for PG culturals. Don't go for those things which can actually consume time. Don't accept any PORs and just focus on inter-IIT sports. Because what you have to do is you have to play. You will play for 2-3 months, and followed by which you will be going for some tournaments at some another IIT. So that is good. But now you have also POR. You are also participating in culturals. At the same time, you also want to do practice for the inter-IIT sports. Then you will be participating there. This kind of things, you have only 2 legs, and how many ships do you want to take yourself with is the question actually. Similarly, for the outside IIT, there are several events which are actually happening. I hope you went through my scholastic achievement. I kept participating in some national level technical paper presentation or poster presentation, etc. You can participate in outside IIT events as well. Sometimes there are cash awards. So I don't know, but I achieved a cash award of more than 66,000 by just participating in outside IIT events. So you can explore if you think like you have a good concept and you can participate and you can win. You surely go and participate in inter-IIT or outside IIT events, conferences. This is something which is very advanced thing, because currently what is happening, we have just completed a BTech and now expecting ourselves to write a research paper or coming up with some unique ideas is something which is not so common. So if you think like you did something good in BTech and there are some subjects in Sitara which can help you to further extend your BTech project work, then try to frame it in a way that you can at least present it in conferences. Because publishing a paper is something which is beyond scope. Means like continuing with your academic works and then writing a paper requires it is something which is you have to be very much dynamic, smart, and you have to leave every other things. This conference can stand out. If you compare, if you ask me like from this point you are to outside IIT, I will say this all can together is one genre, and conference is itself one genre. So if you think like if you have some unique ideas and you can present it, because if you're applying for some prestigious conferences such as which is organized by IISc Bangalore or other IITs, old IITs, your idea will be straightforward rejected if it does not have novelty. That publishing a paper is something which is beyond the scope. So you can try judging yourself by submitting some extended abstract to these conferences, and if you get acceptance, then it is actually giving you a signal. Yes, you can be a good researcher and you can publish a paper as well. Now another question: what all I have to do at Sitara? Lectures. Yeah, I hope you may be smiling. What is written in the red? Can I bunk lectures? It is your call, basically. This is your call. You are at home and the professors are dedicating their time. They are preparing their lectures. It's up to you. You want to sleep, you want to listen, you want to hear, you want to record, and you will hear later, at your free time. But I will tell you one thing, like there are, cluster of subjects. There are lot many, lectures. It is better that you should watch that lecture during that time and try to understand as much as possible during that lecture time itself. Because might coming back to that lecture in future may be somewhat challenging task, because even revising subjects at Sitara is something which is very challenging. When when the midterm exams will come, you will see like you have 6 subjects, 5 subjects in which you have to go for the midterm exams, and then preparation and again going through the lectures consumes a lot of time. Assignments. Some of you may be thinking like why we are given these so many assignments, whether it is actually benefiting us or not. But I must tell you, it is very difficult at Sitara to fail in any of the coursework. Very difficult. The thing is, these assignments basically save a student. A professor used to give so many assignments that if you do these assignments seriously, and if you didn't get good marks in mid-sem or end-sem, still you will pass that subject. Parallel to assignments are quizzes or surprise quizzes, etc. So just be consistent with assignments and quizzes. You will surely going to pass. So that's the thing actually. It is very difficult at Sitara to fail in a subject because they give you so many opportunities in the form of assignments, quizzes, any other things, any other course projects, where you will do something and you will get pass, and no matter how less you are getting in mid-sem or end-sem. So yeah, another concept is like getting high marks is also very difficult. So you will be mediocre all the times. It's very easy to be mediocre at Sitara, but the other ends are very difficult. You can't fail. I can give you that kind of commitment. It is very difficult to get fail in any of the subject. Course project, yes, alone or in a group. Mostly in the semester one, most of the course projects are actually given in group. So basically you will be exploring some of the various new concepts which are actually told by professors, and in the group you will be doing some of the course project, and this is actually helpful for you to explore what exactly is Sitara, because or what is development. This is a very basic question. If there are several of my friends, when I ask them what is development, they have completed their MTech several years ago, still they don't have the answer to it, because the answer to this question is very dynamic. It is perspective based. So these course projects will provide you several perspectives to analyze a given situation. And Sitara actually demands students to develop perspectives rather than to be rigid in behavior with respect to what you learned in BTech. Sitara is not to continue the tradition that you have learned in BTech. It's something that you unlearn yourself and create some space in your brain to accept some very new things. And that is only way to bring perspectives in your thinking and analyzing the particular situation. Basic requirement of the Sitara is the field visit. So it is unescapable, and I am not sure how for the MTD1 these field visits are going to be organized. Might the course instructor will be giving you instructions for the same. Might they will replace field visits with assignments. I think this is only the way out unless the situation improves in India. Field stay is the heart of Sitara, and I'm very sad for MTD2. During this summer, they should have completed their field stay subject, but because of this unfortunate incident and this unprecedented pandemic situation across globe, they missed their TD609 as of now. And I personally feel TD609 is one of the turning point. I must reiterate, it is one of the turning point at Sitara. This is something which is actually going to provide you serious impacts on your way of thinking or taking the things. So field stay should have to be there actually. And let us hope that both of our MTD1 and MTD2 should enjoy this 22 credit subject TD609. And field visits are something which actually which actually prepare you for TD609. Internship. Okay, there is nothing issue. There are no issues with internship because internships can be done online. Now the question is whether it is necessary. Usually, Sitara students get free time in the winter only because summer is in TD609, and next summer you are getting your degrees. So you have only one summer which is actually consumed by TD609. So you are left with 2 winter. The first winter, there is a chance that you can go for internship. Now the question, now since it is lockdown, otherwise the question could have been how I can miss Mood and Tech Fest, which is Asia's biggest event organized by IIT Bombay. And usually most of the boys get their girlfriend during this time only, so they don't want to miss it. And you won't believe I missed both Moodai and Tech Fest, both the attempts. So definitely, I really don't know how IIT Bombay organizes Moodai or Tech Fest because I was doing my internships. So it's up to you. You can decide like whether you have to do internship, and this time you can go for online internships, and try to choose internship in a way that are actually focused towards development sectors. It should not be like very much focused or core kind of civil engineering core or computer science core. Try to increase your learning area, learning curve. And because this is only 2 years where you are allowed to explore. Short-term training programs, STTP, whether it will make a difference. So please keep tracking various STTPs organized by IIT Bombay or outside IITs or any ministry or any organizations. Sometimes you won't believe the topic over which you are doing your MTP work or course project. Similar to that, there are some STTPs which are organizing somewhere else, 5-day short-term training program, etc. So if you attend that, you will get a lot of content for your course project or MTP. And that is really useful. So keep tracking STTPs. And of course, above all, I guess you have identified what I'm going to write next. It's the MTP, for which you have joined Sitara, for which you have joined MTech, without which you are not going to get your degree. MTech project is something which is very core and integrated to Sitara, and you have to do it at Sitara. So these are some of the things that I have identified, which is very core, very useful, which must be done in order to develop several perspectives with regards to whatever the application that you are learning. Yeah, this is what everybody want to hear. Where is the challenge? Maybe MTD1 have started feeling it, but MTD2 is now their hairs must have turned white, because they have been kept facing several challenges, and still their challenges are not decreased. Because of this pandemic, their challenges have increased, because now they have been forced to go for MTP instead of their TD609. So first challenge comes here is like whether I should go for department electives or institute electives. Yes, you have choice. First thing is you have choice. Apart from compulsory subjects, you always can look for which subjects actually interests you. Which subject is more focused on your future target or your MTP target or your course project target. So first thing is like you should prioritize yourself. What you actually wanted to do. If you don't know what you want to do in future, then I told you best way is to explore, because you don't know. Might you will take some institute electives randomly, and you will get certain idea, and that idea will change your entire career. So if you don't have target, if you don't have any future objectives, don't worry. This is the 2 years for you to explore. I might in this exploration you will get something, I'm sure, which will definitely going to excite you. And those who have targets, their responsibility comes here is like to be choosy. Don't go for if all the friends of my class are going for this department, so I will also go for that department. Don't do like this. They are going to live their own life. You are going to live your own life. Why you want to be in a group? I'm a little bit confused, because I've seen this even in the case of my seniors, even in my batchmates. They used to ask, "Are tu ye subject le raha hai kya?" हाँ, मैं भी ले रहा हूँ. हाँ, चलो ले लेते हैं. Because everyone has their different priorities, different objectives. So just be focused on what you actually wanted to do in the future, and don't waste your time by taking wrong subjects, which is not going to help you out. So go with the entire course syllabus, which is provided over the website. You can ask the students who have already completed that coursework, or you can talk to professor directly that my interest is this, whether this keywords will be covered by your coursework. The professor will tell you, no, don't join my coursework if you wanted to do this thing in your career. It will be a waste of time. And professors are really very frank at IIT Bombay. They will surely going to guide you very well. So just be choosy while going for department electives or institute electives. Another thing is whether I should go for audit course or sit through. So you can see if you just go mathematically, sit through is not going to provide you anything, because sit through subjects never showcased in your report card or transcript. So most of the students, technically they will say why to go for sit through. But sometimes the thing is, for example, if there are 10 elements in that particular coursework and you only wanted to listen only 3 elements, then it is very better to go for sit through rather than taking that subject even for audit course, because you are not interested in the 7 other elements. You are just there for 3 elements of the 10 which the professor is going to teach in that particular coursework. Under such situations, sit through is a better idea. You go ask professor, sir, can I sit through in your subject? And if he or she says yes, go for it. And just attend only those specific lectures when he is going to teach you the 3 elements for which you have actually joined that particular coursework. If you think that the particular coursework consists of 6 elements which is of my interest and the rest 4 are not, then better idea is go for audit course, because that will be reflected in your report card or transcript as AU. So it is better to have that subject mentioned in your transcript. And if it is more than 6, then definitely it should be a core subject, C. In your transcript it will be written as C, core subjects. Yes, this is something which is very usual at Sitara. All the professors at Sitara have so much to tell you. They have so much information, they have so much content that in the given time period, they're unable to finish it. So they go for extra lectures. And the thing is, we as a student used to take so many courses that we don't have time to attend extra lectures. And here, there is a clash which comes between professors and students. This happened at our batch. This didn't happen with our seniors, but this really happened in our batch. There were some students who took additional 4 courses. Now, apart from the core courses that you have to take, they took another 4 courses from outside department and institute electives. And they were literally having no time. No time for their girlfriends also. Then what about the professor? What about the lectures? So that's why, be choosy and just don't rush. There is no need to rush. People used to take so many subjects because they wanted to attend placement, and in the placement they wanted to show that, see, I have taken these many subjects. I have the knowledge of that particular subject. But if you are going for these many subjects, you don't know the depth of that. You are not feeling that subject. You are just satisfying the criteria to just somehow I should get placement. For that purpose, you are going through some. You are taking so many subjects which even you don't have any interest. Just you wanted to secure yourself. That's why you go for it, going for it. So because of which, what happens? The motive of Sitara is missed somewhere, and the professors, you don't get means like understanding like why they are going for these many other courses and not attending my extra lectures. So sometimes the professor will become harsh on you, and they will not let you to go for additional courses. In fact, this happened at our batch with our batch. Professor Wagle, he actually instructed nobody is going to take extra courses without the permission of the guides and faculty advisor. So both has to give the permission to the student to go for the extra courses. So that's why it's kind of it's like information that I'm passing on to both of the MTD1 and MTD2. Don't do this, and you just stick to the basic coursework and try to take only those courses which actually are of your interest and can help you in the long run. Assignment submission. Sir, I delayed by 1 second. Will I be defaulted? As you know, you are now submitting your assignments in the Moodle systems where it is very easily highlighted. You have submitted by a delay of 1 second or 1 minute. There are some students who are very fortunate. They submit 1 second before the deadline. They may be smiling, I know. But don't do this. Why are you taking your assignment to the last extent? That is something which is very surprising. Can you believe this kind of skill should be with the military? Military can wait for this last moment. You have to be always ready, right? So whenever the assignment is given to you, don't wait for last moment to come. It is always risky. I told you, I delayed by 1 second. Will I be defaulter? What a question is this? And what reply you are expecting from professor? I don't know. And what professor will reply? It is also very uncertain. Might he will say you have delayed. That's it. He will not look at the another next magnitude of how much delay has happened. So that's the thing. Delay is delay. Yeah, this is this is very common thing. Academic or non-academic commitments together. Non-academic commitments. It's a very something which is very broad. You could define everything which is not academic. Everything, your relationship, personal, everything. If you are very watching YouTube, Facebook, all things comes together. Can we handle both these things together? I will say, is it a risk? It is a risk, actually. It's a kind of risk, handling both things together. Everything in control is good. This is, I can, agree. If you're doing something and it is in control, it's very good. But don't be like, in the night, 11 p.m. you went for sleep and you started your YouTube and it continued till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And then you are in the morning, you have a lecture at 8:30. Then you will not be able to, pay much attention to the lectures, and most of the things will, will be bouncing, just like, the bowling of Shoaib Akhtar. scoring high CPI. Yeah, this is something which is, सभी को मार्क्स चाहिए, लेकिन जब पूछेंगे तो बोलेंगे कि नहीं, हम मार्क्स के लिए नहीं पढ़ते, है ना? And everybody wanted marks. So the thing is, like, let me frank. I should be frank for this topic. CPI is very important. You have been listening this phrase since a long period of time. Marks कुछ नहीं होता, marks सब कुछ नहीं होता, marks क्या decide करता है, marks मेरी जिंदगी थोड़ा फैसला कर सकता है. But I must tell you, marks has some value, and I will cover this aspect in the subsequent statements. Now the basic question is, which is better? I will ask you this basic question: which is better, A plus BC or AB plus AB? If you go mathematically, AB is actually 9, so it's 9 plus 9, which becomes 18 out of 20. BC is, I think, 7, so A is 10, so 10 plus 7, it becomes 17. So 17 out of 20, and this is 18 out of 20. This is how I'm just giving you a concept how to score high CPI. It's all about balancing in Cythera, because there are so many courses and no one is expert in all the subjects. If a student is having background in civil engineering, he will be expert in some subjects, but he may not be good in other subjects. So he has to give more time in preparation of other subjects. Same with mechanical students, same with agriculture background students, same with other background students. No one is, expert in all the subjects. Everyone has to, study. So this is what is happening. For example, if I'm a civil engineering student and there is one mechanical engineering subject at Cythera, so this is what my marks at mechanical engineering subject, and this is what my marks in civil engineering. I should not do this. What I'm doing here is, since I am expert in, in that subject because I studied in BTech, so I will score very high and I will not pay attention to this subject. Then how I am going to do my MTP? How I will bring, perspectives of this subject as well in my, when I am solving some particular problem. So that's why this is far better. You are not topper here. You can see you are not literally a topper in that subject, but still your CPI is completely higher than this person. This person will be famous. I can assure you. This person will be famous in the class. Oh my God, this person knows everything in that subject. If you have any query, just go to him. He will clear it. Or go to her, she will clear it. And no one approaches to these people. And these people are apparently playing their game. And they are actually at the end of the day scoring high CPI. so let's move forward. Yeah, is high CPI has any benefit? So I have seen these things actually happening at Cythera. There are several, there are several ways of selection that comes at Cythera. For example, if you want to select your guide for MTP or even for TD609 Summerfield stay, it happens via merit wise. I don't know whether it is a lacuna of our system or whether what is that. I don't know. I don't want to go into the details of it, but I can tell you, if you want your guide of your interest, your CPI should be of that level to achieve that guide. In my batch, I have seen, I will not take the name, but I've seen some people cried, literally they cried because they didn't get their choice. And their choice was taken by other high CPI scorers. So if you want a specific topic over which you wanted to work, you will get the topic only if you have a high CPI. If someone else, is having a good CPI, he will take your topic. Then what you are going to do? Yeah, there are some, hidden aspects also. Like you can contact your professor well in advance. Like I'm very much interested in this particular topic and I wanted to work with you. That professor can help you indirectly, but that is very uncertain because we have a system and everyone has to pass that particular system. If you're going outside the system, I don't know how much it is going to benefit you. So this is alarm for everybody, at least for MTT1, that your CPI, you will be asking like, what is the role of CPI? Here is the role of CPI. At least for this 2-year course program, here is the role of CPI. Another challenge, very important. I think this will be more appreciated by MTT2. MTP1 immediately followed by TD609. For the information of everybody, MTP1 is actually project phase 1. For MTT1, you should know like MTP1, MTP2 are actually TD695 and TD696. I hope you have went through all the courseworks. So this is something very challenging. Like after completing 2 months field stay, which actually MTT2 haven't completed. But if you complete that 2 months field stay, like 9 weeks field stay, and you're returning back to the campus, you are first expected to submit the entire write-up and presentation of TD609. This usually completes in the very first week of September, and followed by this, you have to immediately go for MTP1. So this is something very challenging. In a very short span of time, you have to complete your proposal of MTP1. You have to complete your progress, and then you have to present a final MTP1 report. And at managing these both subjects, which is very high credit subject. This is 22 credit subject. This is 18 credit subjects. And losing grades in these high credit subjects is something which is which can take your CPI from anything to anything. I must tell you, this work from the this both subjects have the potential to change your CPI abruptly. Another very challenging thing at Sitara is, shall I continue my MTP2 as MTP1? Whether MTP2 is a follow-up of MTP1, or whether I should go for fresh MTP2. This happens usually when you usually lose your interest in MTP1. And starting another MTP, it's like you have this MTP2 it itself becomes MTP1 in the last semester. It is very risky. I must tell you, changing of subject or changing of the topic of your MTP, that too at the very crucial moment, because this is the last semester. Do you have that much time to start a new topic and finish it? It's a question. So this is a very important decision, and this decision actually decides like whether you will be able to finish your MTP. And there is one more thing which is very hidden, which is not visible in this entire statement, which is how is your relation with your guide. How is your relation with your guide also determines. For example, if you are unable to satisfy what actually your guide is asking, your guide will insist you to change your topic. You are not able to give fruitful results or promising results, or your guide at the end of the day might tell you, or the examination team might tell you, like whatever the project you are doing is not in the lineup in the expectations of the Sitara. You are doing something which is very core to some other department, but not reflecting the Sitara perspectives. So that's the thing actually. So this is something which is actually MTP2 has to take care of. Whatever MTP1 that you have taken, just be confident with it. Don't look for changing this topic and coming up with some another topic in the next semester, which is the final semester for you. Yes, this is what actually all the audience wanted to hear, how to manage. So I must give you a brief picture of what exactly is happening in all the 4 semesters of Sitara. Load-wise, SEM 1 is the heaviest, and SEM 4 is not so heaviest. I'm not saying it's not heaviest. It's not so heaviest. And I'm using IEST, EST at the end of each of the words. Means there is heaviness which is there in each of the semesters. But with regards to coursework, the coursework reduces gradually. But when the coursework reduces, the thing which increases is actually your MTP1, MTP2. And before MTP1 is TD609. These are something which is very heavy, and it demands a lot of time and attention. Before going to semester 2, completing an internship is a good idea. Or even if you go for internship after semester 3, usually at this period of time, they used to go for placements. Although I'm not going into the placements, because I'm here for telling you the time management at Sitara. So I will not take into consideration the placements. So here also you have a chance. For example, I use this chance. I did 2 internships in the 2 respective winter gaps. So what is internship can help you is like if it is done in some development sector, and so it can give you an idea for your TD694 seminar. I hope you are aware about TD694 seminar. So if you have done an internship with a very, very good way, and you have submitted a report to that particular organization, that report itself can be used for your TD694, provided you can bring some more Sitarized reflections and do some more hard work, and it saves you a lot of time. So an internship after SEM 1 provides you an opportunity to finish your TD694 parallel to your internship. Another thing that you can see, like coursework. So coursework is, basically in SEM 1 to SEM 3. And also it is questionable at SEM 3, because, nobody is asking you to take coursework in SEM 3. But still most of the students used to take SEM 3 because here it's a placement season. I tell you, this is a placement season. So most of the students still, used to take a lot of coursework, because of which what happens, they don't able to put enough time for their TD609 22 credit subject and MTP1 18 credit subject. So you can see If you want to, and that's the reason like why most of the students loses their CPI here at SEM3. That's why I have highlighted in red with star. So coursework, means like my suggestion will be, if you wanted to do extra coursework, try to please finish it within SEM 1 and SEM 2, and keep SEM 3 free for your TD 609 and MTP 1. Yeah, I was talking about TD 694 seminar. Seminar is actually the turning point of entire MTP 2. I told you there are two turning points at Sitara. One we actually discussed, TD 609 summer field stay. Another is 694 turning point. Why it is turning point? Because it's actually coursework, and internship is not a coursework. It's something which is up to you. If you complete your internship, you get a base for your seminar. Once your base for seminar is up to the mark, you can use this base for MTP1. So I think you are getting my point, what I'm trying to tell you. So basically a project work, that is MTP, is extendable between SEM 3 and SEM 4. But the base for the project work can be established within SEM 1 and SEM 2, or after SEM 1 in the internship and SEM 2. Field work, it's very inherent component of Sistara, which is again in between SEM 1 and SEM 2. And you have to do another field work for your MTP2 in the 4th semester. Because the thing is, whatever the field visit or field work that you do in TD 609, it is helpful to complete the coursework of TD 609. But if you want to take your TD 609 as your MTP, then again you have to do some robust work, for which you have to go for field visits in semester 4, that is MTP2. So basically you are doing fieldwork twice at Sitara with the same level of, same rigorousness will be there in both the field visits, the way you did at TD 609 and the way you will be doing for MTP2. So now you have got the entire framework, exactly what is happening at Sitara. And I have tried to give you a glimpse of it. All the viewers who are watching me right now and watching the slide, you can just take the screenshot of it and try to analyze in your own way. In the disclaimer slide only, I have told you, I'm not here to give you a professional advice. I'm here to give you a framework.
Oh, hello, Aman.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think it's not audible to anyone.
Yeah, I think he's not speaking. Oh, Aman?
Hello, I'm audible.
Oh, yeah, now you are audible, yeah.
Oh, did I miss something?
No, yeah, actually we lost your screen as well.
Okay. Where I was last?
No, just last point that you spoke.
Okay. Let me, start. Hey, am I boring? Am I boring everybody?
No, Aman, it's actually going very good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Otherwise, I thought like everybody's sleeping and I'm only one, who's speaking.
No, nothing like that, yeah.
Okay. So let me, switch back to that particular very important slide. Yeah, and one more thing. If I'm calling that slide important, it's with regards to my perspective. You can call any slide important or not important. It's up to you. Because Sitara is full of perspectives and I'm not here to interfere the perspectives of others. Yeah, and the third route for accomplishing your MTP is you have a seminar, a fresh seminar, a seminar which is not inspired by either your internship, either by your coursework. You took randomly one seminar because you didn't get what you wanted to study at Sitara, so you decided like I will take this course subject, a particular topic, and I will do a seminar. Then that seminar can be useful for your directed field work. For the information of MTD1, which is very important at this moment of time. When you do field work, that is TD609, there is an element called directed research. You are supposed to do at least one directed research in the given study site, in the village. this directed research is actually something where you are collecting information and actually trying to develop some solution or analyzing a problem. I'm not here telling you to develop a solution and implement it. It is something which you actually primarily develop some sorts of solution in the directed research part. So sometimes what some students used to do is they take the directed research part which they have done by themselves, because that directed research should not be completed with in the with the two of the students who are going together. It is to be done by individual itself. So some of the students use their seminar principles, whatever they have done in seminar, in the directed research of fieldwork, and then reflect the same at internship. It's like sometimes what happens, if I tell you my experience, when I went for second internship, my second internship was more interesting than my first internship. My first internship was just like exploration of Sitara. The way I explored Sitara, same thing happened. I explored the internship also. But my second internship was very much focused. Now I was well aware what I have to do, because I'm done with my seminar, I'm done with my fieldwork, I am also done with my MTP1, and I know exactly what I'm expecting in my MTP2, which is very important. 40 credit subject, I can tell you, 40 credit, and the total credit that you have to do at Sitara is 159. You can estimate what is 40 of 159. I think it can be around, let's say 45% or 40%. Maybe. So you can see like it's very heavy subject. So all these things can help you to set your MTP. Why I'm telling you all these things? Because if you start your MTP1 at MTP1, then you have to do a lot of hard work. But if you start your MTP1 before MTP1 comes, then that is something which is actually saving your time. You ask like how to save time at Sitara. This is only the way. You have to develop some link. Once the linkage is there, you can do it. For example, I would like to name one of my senior, Jeffrey. Jeffrey was my senior. It's like he's MTT4. He did this thing. I observed his work actually. He in the subject TD601 development theory, which MTT1 is currently studying. He did some course project in TD601. He carried that particular coursework in TD694 seminar. He used that principle in directed research of TD609. He brought the same element and did further robust work in MTP1. And he did something very extraordinary in MTP2. The result was he got his paper published because he did a lot of hard work with the same concept since 2 years, for the 2 years. So you can see like, we are doing MTech for 2 years, but do we get a time to work on one subject for 2 years? It is only possible when you start from today. I hope I address this particular note, and we can have a discussion, after this presentation. This is my last slide, so no need to worry. There are no more slides actually. Take home messages. Don't take stress. This is useless in Sitara. Not in Sitara, it is actually useless. Literally, it is useless. Stress only, can reduce your time. No, stress only can, consume a lot of time. Stress can reduce your efficiency. Stress also can reduce your potential. So this is something which is very useless. Be free. Whenever something is coming to you, just accept it. If you are finding like, okay, yeah, there are 6 assignments and it is almost impossible to submit, don't take stress. Try to submit as many as possible. What will happen at the end of the day? There will be late submission. That's it. But don't take stress, because nothing is going to be loose. After all, you are in Sitara. After all, you are going to get MTech degree from IIT Bombay. IIT Bombay is #1 institute as per QS World Ranking, for your information. So and ISC Bangalore and IIT Delhi is far behind us with regards to QS World Ranking. So we are in one of the very pioneering institute, one of the very prestigious institute of India. So there is nothing like now you are in the very best institute and now you are taking stress. So there is no linkages between them. Keep expressing to someone who is reliable. So try to make friends. That friend should not be someone who is actually giving you tension, who is giving you, who is not, like with you. And friends can be your parents. You start expressing to your parents like, I did this thing, that thing. For example, if I take my case, my mother is completely like, she don't know any technicalities. but I discussed my MTP2 with my mother. Would you believe it? Who can believe this? I discussed my MTP2 with my mother. I discussed my TD69 with my mother. And she literally said, yes, yes, I am getting your point. Because Albert Einstein said, if you can express something to your grandmother, that means your concepts are very clear. So just start expressing whatever you're doing. Start talking with the people. Let us see whatever you're doing can be understood by other people who are not so technically sound. So if you express, you will become very much, stressless. You will become, free. This is very important. Don't use Sitara. I have seen, I will not name it, but this is something which is very bad. And I literally condemn. Some students try to use Sitara. Some students try to use what professors are teaching for their own selfish benefit. Don't go for it. We are here to become a development professional. We are here to become something for the society. We are learning here to serve the society. We are here because some taxpayers are paying money. Our the fees that we are submitting to our institute which is very, very less, something 20,000. For MTT1 would have submitted 30,000, some 10,000 rupees of extra monies that you have submitted. This is something which is very less. Go to MBA, just see what is the IIM fees, and just see what is the fees of MTech at IIT Bombay. Are two complete things, because taxpayers are not giving money to the MBA students of IIM, but they are giving money to the students of IIT Bombay for MTech. So we have a great responsibility. We are here not to get high packages and live a very fruitful life. We are here to serve this nation. We are here to serve this country. We are here to serve the place from where we come from. And we are actually going to become a development professional. So don't try to, use Sitara and try to show like, yeah, I will become development professional in the near time. So this is a kind of, message from my bottom of my heart. Maybe most of the people will not be agree. They will say like, no, I want job. I need money. Money is very important for me. Okay, take money, no issues. But still, in near future, try to shift from whatever the company that you have joined for, which is not working for the development of the nation. Oh, actually, all companies are working the development of the nation only. But when I say development, it's about the bottom 80% of the rural India. Might be the company that you joined is software making company, which is making softwares, and maybe that software is not actually directly solving the issues of the rural India. So try to become a development professional so that you can address the basic issues. Like, for example, farmers are committing suicide. I ask all the audience who are listening to me, farmers are committing suicide. In Maharashtra state, 2,250 farmers committed suicide in 2019. Would you believe it? And what we as a Sitara are doing? What we as a Sitarites are doing? Are we doing some kind of MTech project? Are we doing some kind of course project which can actually address these kind of issues which are happening? So these are some of the things that, and I use this particular quote just to sensitize everybody, just to sensitize the new entrants at Sitara, that be focused, and your target should be to serve this nation. Your target should be to serve that bottom 80% who are actually waiting for you. Just when you will go to the village, TD609 field stay, the villagers look at you in a way like they were waiting for you for so many years. सदियों से आपका इंतजार कर रहे थे सर, आप कहाँ थे? परेशान हो गए थे सर, हम बहुत परेशान हो गए थे, आखिरकार आप आ ही गए, आइए सुनिए हमारी परेशानियां सुनिए. They are waiting for you. So take pleasure to be a Sitarite and serve Sitarite for the betterment of this nation. Yeah, another thing, like, don't pile up your assignments, your works for the last moment. Yeah, I told you, this is the worst way of living. और कल कर लेंगे, परसों कर लेंगे. Why कल कर लेंगे, परसों कर लेंगे? When कल will come, then you will get lot many or more assignments. अब उन assignments के लिए क्या कहेंगे? अरे उसको परसों के बाद वाले दिन कर लेंगे. So piling up does not help at Sitara. And yeah, there are lots of coursework. First of all, and there are several coursework which is actually not known to us. Maybe there are some extraordinary students who are preparing for UPSC. I don't know. They may be aware of all the coursework of Sitara. This is something which is very unusual. But usually, most of the courseworks are very unknown, and you have to give time. So that's why piling up your works is not a good idea. Best time to start preparing for your mid-semester exam is now. I have seen 2 days before exam, 1 week before exam, they start preparation. I don't get the sense like why 7 days before, why 5 days before, what you were doing 100 days before the examination. And when you start preparation as 7 days before the examination, it is something, you're bringing this element. You're bringing this element here. Stress. What are you going to do here? You will sleep very less. And it is justified. The person who sleeps less and attempts the exam, they are not, using their 100% efficiency. Even Einstein used to take 10 hours of sleep, for your information, who won Nobel Prize. I think we are not here to, we will not be getting Nobel award for, completing all the Sitara coursework. So that's why best time is start preparation from now itself. Because there is no specific time for preparation of mid-sem exam. Because most of the students asked me actually. Some students were asking me when we should start preparation for the same. Anytime when you are studying is your preparation. And another thing, best time to start MTP is also interestingly now. I told you, all the MTD one, this is message for you. And free advice. It's a $1 million advice and I'm giving you for free. You can give me in my account. I will give you my account number. If you wanted to give me, you can give me. But the best way, at the best time to start your MTP is now itself. Whatever the coursework that you are going through, start exploring. Try to find out which thing is actually going to excite you. It will take time, but once you get the idea, don't break that link. Continue that link and develop it further. Be humble with your guide. I can tell you, guide can do anything for you. Even if your work has, if your work is not so good, still your guide can manage your examiners. Your guide can request your examiners, please give some time to this candidate. This candidate will give you some promising results if you give 1 week time. But if you're not humble with your guide, if you're arguing with your guide, no, sir, this is correct, this is correct, this is correct. After all, guide is, his PhD and he has done his PhD several years ago. He has a lot of experience. Lot means lot. We are nothing. We are just like an island. And they are ocean of knowledge. So don't try to challenge your guide. Better is be humble. A guide knows a lot of things. And if you're good with your guide will be very good with you. That's the thing that I have actually experienced. That is very useful. If you want to complete your TT694, TT609, MTP1 and MTP2. For all these 4 courseworks, you must need a guide who will be there with you all the time. So humbleness works at this period of time. Another, something which is out of box. Don't make fun of your colleagues. I have seen this. I don't know, what people used to get by making fun of someone else. I have seen, literally, I am telling you, my experience. When I used to ask questions, when I used to ask doubts in the classroom, there were some students at the back, they used to laugh at me. I really don't get the sense why they are laughing. So I started exploring why you used to laugh. From the indirect sources, they said, "Arey, isko to itna bhi nahi aata." This person even don't know these things, and he's asking some very silly questions in the class. Remember, if my questions are silly, then why a professor is answering my silly questions? He could have said this, "Aman, your questions are very silly. Please don't ask this question and waste the time of other students." But professor never says your question is silly. Why? Because professor understands one question can have several perspectives. Might with some of the perspectives, the students who are at the back of the benches, they started laughing because they know only limited perspectives. But professor went beyond and he thought like, okay, yeah, there are other perspectives as well. So it's better to support the doubt which is raised by some of your friends. If your friend is asking some question, support him, because might the response to that particular question by the professor can give you some other insights, can give you something more which you were not expecting. And it is better not to be rigid with what we have studied. For example, if I did my BTech in civil engineering, I was given silver medal, but I never revealed this out. When I joined Sitara, my intention was just be a person be a child. That's the best way to live. I used to ask so many questions, and I used to ask very silly questions also sometimes. And I never seen a professor insulting me that why, Aman, you are asking these silly questions. In fact, I attended a field visit with MTD2. If all the MTD2 who are listening to me, if they remember, I attended a field visit with you. You remember how many questions I was asking. And it was not like I was showing off. It was something which I don't know. I wanted to know how these things are happening. And by asking my doubts, there are several people who actually wanted to ask that particular doubt. And my query and others' queries are solved because of my asking. So someone who is asking the question is actually helping a lot many students who are actually not asking doubts, or who are actually hesitating to ask their doubts. So that's why those people who come forward, ask questions, they are doing something very good for others. They are leaders of the class. Basically, their questions are not silly. They are doing a good job for the class, and they should get some respect. And that's why I have written here in the red mark. Might he she will be the next medalist. Yeah, it's just a talk. Or might be he she will be the next IAS officer. Who knows? Might be the person who was most we keep on making fun of that particular colleague, and later on in the future, after 10 years, he become the IAS officer of India. 10 years, oh, I said too much. Maybe after 5 years or so, we don't know. So that's the thing. And we are at IIT, and everybody is very unique. Everyone has potential to do something very great. So we can't judge just by the question which a person is asking. And we even don't know with what perspectives and in what context that particular colleague is asking question in the class. So that's why we need to develop perspectives. And very important, at the end of the presentation, one model does not fit for all. Might you have done something in your BTech which was very good, and you thought like, I will reiterate the same thing in MTech also. I will tell you, might the perspective will change, might the parameters will change, might there will be lot many things which are changing. Your model will fail. I have seen some of my friends, they were doing some job, they were in some company before coming to MTech. So they did some kind of project there and it became successful. So they thought like, I will use that particular concept in the village also. So they went, he or she went to the village, he applied that particular model, and that model failed very seriously. It seriously failed. The reason is because the problem that you are going to address at rural areas are quite different than the problem you are addressing in the urban areas. There is a lot of changes. We need to study the environment. We need to understand what is the rural environment, what they are expecting. And our villagers are very smart. They are very intelligent. People used to ask like, "Arey, villagers don't have technical knowledge. How we will be they are far more intelligent than us. They have lot many insights about what is actually farming, how to do farming, what are the lacunas, where are the constraints. They can tell you everything. Even they have solutions also. What they don't know is how to implement that solution or how to make that solution. And there comes the role of Sithara. We can go, we can discuss with them, we can hear what they wanted to tell us. And then they will also give you your MTP topic. They can give you how to do your MTP work. So that's why one model does not fit for all. So you need to keep changing your model. You need to keep modifying your model every time whenever you are visiting from one village to another. I'm done with the presentation. Over to Anchor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Aman, for such an amazing talk. It's really enlightening for all of us. So thank you very much on behalf of all MTD1 and MTD2. Now we'll open the session for question answers.
Yeah, Shivan, I will take just 1 minute gap.
Yeah, sure, Amar.
Yeah,
And
sure.
sure.
Then you can ask all the audience to type their question in the chat box, and you can read that questions out for me. And
okay. Yeah. Hello guys. Just type your questions in chat, and I'll talk this for you. Ask this. Yes, Ankush. Someone raised hand.
I will type it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Shivanand, I have joined. If you're available, you can.
Yeah, sure. So first question is by Yashwant. Like as a beginner, how to start or make approach for writing a paper or going for a conference, or
Yeah.
how to
So
start doing that?
okay. So what is the background of Yashwant? Means like which department he belongs to? Means like his BTech.
Uh, I am from a mechanical engineer.
Okay. So you must have done some BTech project work, right? In your BTech.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And
My
since you have
basic
joined.
project was solar adsorption refrigeration system.
Okay. So we have a lot of professors who are actually working in the sector of solar. So you can show your work to your professors, your guide, basically, and let us hear the comments from them. Let us see what he or she is actually expecting from you. What are the further modifications which are required? Because in Sitara, your work should correlate with rural areas or must reflect some Sitara principles or Sitara perspectives. That's the thing actually. So when we do our BTech projects, it's very much it's very mechanical work basically, where we don't take even consideration of what people will think of this project. We never get approval on our BTech projects with the people for the society for which we have designed actually. So if you really are looking forward for publishing a paper, the first thing is like, since you don't have you don't have any Sitara ideas right now because you are into the coursework and professors are teaching you right now. After the end of the semester, might you will get some new ideas. But still, if you said like you wanted to start from this point of time, then only your past knowledge can help you out. Bring that past knowledge, share it with your professor's guide, and let us see what they actually comment. If they find that yeah, there are some scopes in which we can frame it again into Sitara basics, then you can start working on the same, and might at the end of the your MTech, might you will get some a paper or so.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll surely do that.
Yeah.
So next question is from Jayant. Actually, he's asking like, what did you used to do during your field visit?
Yeah. So I think he's MTD one, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a 9-week field stay. Uh, I got a place in Nasik district. It was Shivaji Nagar. It is a tribal village, 100% tribal village. The village was located on the hills on the Sahyadri. So it was a hilly village and the population was close to 1500. So we used to discuss a lot, many things with them. You know, Professor NC Narayan will take your one course, TT 627, if I'm right, Shivaran. He will be teaching about participatory rural appraisal, PRA. This is a very core, elements and practice that are taught in one of the course called TT 627. So we used to do participatory rural appraisal activities in the villages every day because it was, a very fun kind of thing where we were able to, get lot many insights. And another thing was like we used to explore because it was a hilly area. So we used to climb the hills, aam todne jate the, or there are several things that we conducted. But technically speaking, we were more focused towards participatory rural appraisal activities. And I don't think that this is the right time to tell you what exactly is PRA. But there are around 7 to 10 tools which you can use and you will really enjoy using that tools and enjoying your 9 weeks field stay.
Okay, my name is Jayant. So, like the most of your time is used to get in interaction with these people.
Right.
So it was like that.
Yeah, exactly. People are the governing body of whatever the work that we are doing. For example, if I wanted to do research, again, the problem will be told by the village only. Villages only will tell me the problems, that what are the problems they are facing. Based on
Mhm.
problems they have told, I will investigate why that problem is prevailing in that particular village. For that purpose only, they are going to help me. At the end, if I wanted to develop a solution, I will ask them, what kind of solution you all people are expecting? They will say, okay, we want this kind of things. Then based on that, I will look towards various papers which were published. Based on that, I will ask my guide, said, I have identified one problem and villagers have been facing this problem since a long period of time and they are suggesting these kind of things. So what is your opinion? Then this is what the way, we discuss and we get some kind of our directed research or whatever the, assignments which are given to complete within the 9 weeks field stay time frame.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So next question is people want to know how to find internships and do we need to go for field visit during a seminar?
Yeah, so best way is like you ask your professors. Our professors are very dynamic, and for example, I will just give you one example. Professor Subodh Wagle. He actually, to my knowledge, he has worked for 17 years in Prayas, if I'm right, Shivanan. He worked for 17 years in
Yes, yes.
yeah. So, and if you talk about Professor Pennan Chinnasamy, he also worked in NGOs like A3 and there are some NGOs in Gujarat also. So most of our professors at Sitara, they have a lot of information about what are the focused internship opportunities. So best way is not to Google. The best way is to contact professor. Ask them, sir, I'm looking for so and so purpose. I am very much interested in this topic. So can you suggest some very appropriate internship opportunities where I can explore? They can give you the best results. Another thing is like if you go with the profile of MTT3 or MTT4 or any super seniors, they can also give you a lot of ideas. For example, I'm more into water resource management. If you ask me, then I can give you some of the ideas also. This is another way of getting the links for the internships. I think I've addressed. And at the end, Google is always there. You can go and Google anytime, and you will get some of the development professional based internships. But better is to get the reference from your professor, from the seniors, and that will be more relevant. I think so.
Oh, okay, Aman. So now the question is like, is the coordination or unity among the class is important, and how?
Coordination in the class.
Yeah, class students.
Yeah, coordination always works. For example, the coordination of MTT2, current MTT2 is very good. If they wanted to increase the deadline, they come together at the request and force professor, sir, we can't submit our assignment in the state deadline. We want to extend the deadline. But don't coordinate for these kind of things actually. Because these kind of things is more affiliated to TA. And when I was TA, Shivanand and his classmates can better appreciate about this. When I was a TA, I was very very rough TA. Means like I made them. I still remember MTT2. The current MTT2 was like they were very sad about the way I was working. I used to give them very difficult assignments. I still remember, and you just ask them to share the midterm exam question paper. The question paper was something which was it was a 90 minutes paper. It was kind of stress paper. So the thing is like it's a TA who is directly engaging with guide. If TA is very relaxed, he is not giving much attention to the MDT, the junior batch. So what will happen if you request TA? We wanted to increase the time. Please tell this and convey this to professor. So what he will do? TA will convey and the professor will accept. Right? But at the end, are you getting any benefit of it? That's the thing actually. For example, when I was DA, I did my work very seriously. I gave 4 assignments. I invested 2 days or 3 days in making 1 assignment. This is what I dedicated to my juniors. I think like why all the knowledge should be content with me only. Why not to spread this knowledge? So I started developing some very realistic questions because I was already done with my TD609. So what I used to do, I used to refer some textbooks and make that questions in the realistic platforms. So since I was already having field exposure, I used the field exposure. I took some data from there, some concept from the textbook, and developed a question which is more kind of useful for the students to solve and then get a good exposure for the field. So that's the thing actually. So coordination, is much needed. Coordination is required because you can be able to influence your professors anytime for anything. If you all have coordinations together, then you can organize Teachers' Day, Convocation Day. If you have good coordination, then you can be a good volunteers for any of the Sitara events. If you have good coordination among yourself, then you will keep sharing all the important informations happening across India, across globe about various opportunities. So coordination comes from WhatsApp group only. So you must have joined on the WhatsApp group. So just think like what should be the objective of the WhatsApp group. For example, I've seen most of the WhatsApp group where people used to chat randomly, anything they chat. There is no use of it. They're sharing everything. They are stickers are shared and these kind of things are shared. So you have to decide if you want to have a good coordination, then how this coordination should go on. Whether it's a kind of enjoying all the time, or whether whenever you are coordinating for some very good cause. So you have to shape your WhatsApp group in that way, where just ensure like nobody is writing or texting something which is very nonsense, or whenever you are texting, it should contain some sense. It should not be a waste of time. Like, oh, I went through the WhatsApp and I read 35 messages and all were useless. It was some 2 people or 3 people who communicated with each other. So you have to think about this in this manner, and the coordination will work definitely. Yeah, coordination will come another time. For example, sometimes assignments are very difficult, and then you can coordinate among yourself. Like, have you solved this problem, or how to solve this particular problem? Coordination helps also. For example, there are mechanical students, civil students, various backgrounds of the students are there, and there are some courses which are affiliated to some particular disciplines. Affiliated to, I'm not saying that it is directly taken from that particular discipline. So the expert, those students who are very good in that particular subject, they can teach other students. And similarly, other students can do the same thing with others. So if you have a good coordination, if everybody knows like, oh, this is, he is expert in that particular subject, she is expert in that particular subject. So you identify your leaders and ask the leaders to coordinate, ask the leaders to take the responsibility, and please keep teaching and spreading all the concepts, basic concepts, such that those who are not expert in that particular subject, they can also get expertise like you. So this can help you to to increase the overall CPA of the class. Better results will be there at the end of the day. Yes, over to Shivanand.
Yeah, thank you, Aman. I would like to add on this, if I am allowed to. Ankush, I would like to say, like, you should have the, So Ankush, you not Ankush, all of the class, MTD1, you should have unity among your class. There should not be the united groups in your class. Make sure that it won't happen. Like, I won't say anything, but till you go to the next semester and all, there will be many small divided groups among the class. So that will basically spoil the whole unity of the class and that coordination and all. And so make sure it won't spoil your unity, and there won't be any such small divided groups. Yeah.
Exactly.
So next question is like, how to decide our MTP topic?
So I think I have given enough time during the presentation. If you want to work for your MTP, if you want to work for anything, your time starts from today itself. And the best way at Sitara is to explore. Exploration is the pioneering thing or the skill that a student at Sitara develops in the very first semester or in the very first week itself. Or before joining Sitara, only you were exploring how many subjects are there, which subject is taught by which professor, what is expertise of the particular professor. And there will be some predetermined ideas in your mind. So you will be trying to shape that particular idea. Okay, I have this idea. Can this coursework can help me to develop this idea further? Or whether this professor can help me to explore that particular idea further. So, and very important thing is you should keep reading. Reading is very important. Reading of newspapers, reading of research papers, reading of MTP project works of the previous MTP projects. You should keep reading TTC journal reports. When you will keep reading all this project work, you will get a lot many ideas. Then the next job will be to do the brainstorming. When you will brainstorm, then you will identify, okay, my interest is this, and there are few of the projects which were done in the past, but it was not conducted so useful. The project that was done in the past was not so useful according to you. So you thought like, why not to take that particular project work and modify further. So extension of a past MTP can be your MTP. For that purpose, you need to contact that particular senior. Also, if you approach directly to the professor that sir, I don't have any idea, just you suggest my idea, I will start working on. If you're so much open, then the professors are sitting there with, with millions of ideas. I can tell you, they are full of knowledge, they are full of imaginations, they are full of ideas. So they can also even help you to shape your ideas, and they can guide you as to how to approach with your MTP. But the best way is first explore. That is your task. Maybe you have done some course project in your BTech, but the first thing is just to stay and go with the flow of semester 1. After the end of semester 1, you will get a lot of perspectives, lot of course knowledge. Also, you are going to do lots of course project of the courses which are actually going in continuation for MTD1. So they are actually going to give you a lot of ideas. So I think it is too early to decide, oh, this is my MTP1 topic. But it's very, but I will say it's too late if you don't start exploring various things and various attributes of Sitara. Yeah, Shivanand.
So is that
Shivanand, I missed you. Can you please repeat?
So we'll let him ask a question.
I think some issues are happening.
I think he not there. Hello, Aman.
I think you can chat.
Hello.
You can inform me.
Yeah.
I think you can write whatever you wanted to tell in the chat box, because I couldn't get to your point. Or there is any question? Oh, there are so many questions. Okay, I think due to some signal issues, I'm unable to hear from Shivanand. Let me check up to which question we have completed. There is a question from Yashwant. As a beginner, how to start or make approach or writing a paper. I think we completed this particular aspect, I assume. Then duration of field visit, what are things you do? Okay, we are done with this question. Then Rachna asked how to get time to prepare for exams while doing lots of assignments. Alright, okay, I think we need to start from this question, which was asked at 5:16 p.m. Rachita Tripathi. How to get the time to prepare for exams while doing lots of assignments and attending lectures? Yeah, so when you are doing assignment and when you are attending lecture, you are actually preparing for your midterm exams. Only thing is you need to be very much cautious and completely focused towards what actually professor is telling, and whatever the notes that you prepare, because PPT is one thing. Yeah, most of the professors used to share their PPT, but whatever they are telling while presenting that particular PPT, these are something which is not there in the PPT, but sometimes they used to tell their experiences or something which is in between the two sentences, which is not there, but it is there in the form of experience of the professors. Might sometimes it becomes a questions of the exams. So just hear properly what professors are teaching, follow their PPT, and since you said like you are doing lots of assignments and attending lectures, this is actually preparing you for the exams. So I think there is no much worry about it. I hope I addressed the question of Rachna. Rachna, can you please say yes or no?
Yes, sir, sure.
Yeah. I'm not sir. Huh? I'm not sir. I'm just 23 years old.
Okay.
Okay. Next, after Rachna, then Arshri Rizvi. I'm sorry if I couldn't pronounce it properly. Hi, sir. I am not sir. You are insulting me. Could you please throw some light on how to decide our MTP topic? I think I am done with this.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Then Ajay Pawar, how did you find internships from our seminar? Do we need to go for visits? How did you find your internship? I told you, like, there are several ways to find out internships. In my case, something very interesting happened. There was an NGO called Dhan Foundation. They actually wanted to sign an MOU with IIT Bombay. But according to MOU, they wanted some students to participate in the internship program. And I was the first to participate. So as a result of the MOU, which was signed, I became the first person to participate in that particular internship program for 3 months. So since they wanted a student to stay for 3 months in a row, but we have broken it and we make it 2+1. But at the end, I completed 2+2 in the 2 winter seasons on 2 different topics. So this is how I actually identified. But I told you, you can directly talk with your professors and others, and you will get a lot of ideas as to how to go for internship. You can talk to your seniors also; they can give you lots of ideas. And Google is always there at the end. Then after this, what was the question? Okay, how did you find? Is coordination, unity among the class students is important? I think we are done with this. How to decide our MTP topic? Okay, I think we are done with this. What are the opportunities available for doing PhD in the development domain? Okay, Anand Kumar is asking this question. Is Anand Kumar is here?
Yes, bro. I'm here.
Yeah. He is my bro. That's a good way. What are the opportunities available for doing PhD in development domain? And how should we prepare now if we are planning to do it immediately after masters? Can you please share your advice on this? So, Anand, the thing is, Sitara itself is, providing a base for the development-based knowledge. So all the subjects of Sitara are affiliated to, development for the bottom 80% of the rural area. So each course work is actually helping you to develop your resume, because when you will write what are the courses that you have studied, so you will be writing public policy and governance, you will be writing development theory, you will be writing water science and lot many subjects. So these subjects are actually helping you to to get more valuable for the development sector. So there is no issue about it. Now, exploring for PhD, yes, there are a lot many PhD students in our department who are doing PhD at Sitara, and they are doing, and their PhD topic is very much related to rural development, and their case studies or their study side is also completely a rural area, and they have been working in some particular rural clusters since 4 years, 5 years. So there are a lot many people available who can answer this question very well, because I just completed my MTech, but I can assure you, whatever you're studying in MTech is actually making your base for PhD, provided you have sit in the development domain. So yes, Sitara is actually making you for development. If you would have been there in mechanical engineering department, for example, then this was a serious question. As I'm in a mechanical engineering department, I'm doing my MTech in design. How come I can look for this development sector? Then there is a question that why we want to switch from core to development. But you are already in development sector, so there is no issue about bringing those aspects. Rachna Tripathi again asked, what if the BTech project is not related to Sitara? How to find the topics from which we have choose for MTP? How to find the topics from which we have to choose the MTP? Okay, so yeah, there is no problem about it. I told you, Sitara is something where you have to learn. First of all, you have to unlearn, and then you have to learn the perspectives which are actually required to be developed at this at Sitara. And it is obvious that most of the BTech projects will not be relevant to the Sitara context. So first thing that you can do is start exploring with the coursework which is there at semester 1, semester 2. You will be going through lots of coursework. Also, parallelly, you can explore what are the other courses in the institute. So just look for institute electives. Just also look for department electives. Go through the syllabus of it. Some of the syllabus can provide you information. Okay, yeah, this coursework is coming out to be very much interesting. You can attend that coursework, and might at the end of the coursework, or might that coursework will ask you that you have to submit a course project at the end of this course. So when you will do that particular course project, might you will love to extend this course project as your MTP. So this is also one of the way to choose your MTP. So what you have to do is that just be in the flow. Professor will ask you to submit a course project. When you will start doing that project, you will do literature review and you will get to know a lot of things. When you will submit the course project, then it's up to you whether you want to continue with that or you want to do some more projects. So you will get a lot of chances. As I shared also in my scholastic achievement that I did 11 projects. I don't completed 11 projects because I was very much interested, because it was the demand of the course. It was a demand of the coursework. It was a demand of the professor that you have to submit a course project at the end of the course. So that's why you will get a lot of projects to do, and which can help you to guide for your MTP. Next, how to decide our MTP topic. Okay, we are done. Then how to find the appropriate internships, as you suggested, internship after first or third sem. Yeah, so I have told you, we have professors, we have seniors, and definitely you can approach them and they can tell you what are the very appropriate internships in the sector which you are looking for. Then Ankush is asking, can you brief us about fellowships? Any eligibility, selection, scope of work, what after fellowship? Okay, so I don't know whether HL fellowship is available to MTD1. Is Shivanand is available?
Amal,
Yeah, is
Yashwant this side. Actually, we are just informed about 2 fellowships till now. One is UNICEF and another is MORD.
Okay. So you want me to brief over this fellowship, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Could be so great.
Exactly. So MORD is more about the flagship schemes of Government of India. And basically they are working for a 4 fellowship program right now. MG Narega, I hope you have heard about it. Then there are skill development based flagships. I think the name was, I am missing the name, but it is based on the skill development. Another was Rurban Mission. And there used to be Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana some years ago. So you will be going to work for some flagship schemes of the Government of India. For that purpose, what you have to do is after completion of your first year, you will be enrolled as a MORD fellow. There will be some sorts of interview interview may happen depending upon how many students are applying for. If number of seats are, let us say, number of seats are 10, and students are applying, there are 20 students to apply. Definitely, there should be some eligibility criteria for that. Might they will judge with the high CPIs, or might they will conduct an interview for all the 20 candidates who are applying, and then based on the best interviews, they will select one. Also, Sitara is, you have recently appeared in a written test of the Sitara selection procedure as well. So they might conduct some, written test to check whether you are, well aware about various flagship schemes and how government of India actually works and implement their various strategies. This is how MORD works. So your second year will be, your MTP1 and MTP2 will be dedicated to the topic which will be sanctioned by the MORD. So we'll work on the topic which will be provided by the MORD in your MTP 1 or 2. So you don't have choice. So those who takes the MORD fellowship, they literally at the end of the day don't have much choice between what they want to do. They have to do on the topics which will be provided by the MORD, or until unless your guide fights for you and get your topic approved by MORD, like my student will work for this particular thing. It may not be, it is coming in any of the flagship scheme. So these are the scenarios actually. For UNICEF fellow, it's basically health related, and Professor Dr. Rupal Dalal and Professor Agnihotri, who is currently the emeritus professor and former HOD, they have been taking some of the Sitara students for the UNICEF program. This is more affiliated to health related sectors. If you are really interested in these sectors to explore, UNICEF Fellows is very fantastic. About the stipend, yes, stipend will be 15,000 and 16,000 per month for UNICEF and MORD respectively in second year, followed by 1 year of work, which will provide you a stipend of 60,000, 60. Now your question is, what after fellowship? You will get a lot of opportunities because your resume is very much upgraded because of this fellowship program. Now the question is, you can go for higher studies, or you can come into the placement for as a deferred placement. For those students who actually apply for deferred placement, they can join placement program 1 year after their MTech. So you will complete your fellowship program, you will come back, you will again sit in the placements, and you will get your job. Also, some of the students who used to go to the MORD or UNICEF, they get too much motivated and they start preparing for UPSC examinations. So these are also some of the aspects which are happening actually with regards to fellowships. Although it depends upon students what they actually want to do. For example, some of our seniors, they wanted to open their own startup, or they wanted to work with a consultancy firm. So it depends upon your interest, what you exactly wanted to do. For example, I recently talked to one of the MOD fellow. He's preparing for UPSC. And now preparation requires a lot of time. So he has left everything and he's just literally preparing for UPSC. So these are the things actually.
One more question related to same only. As I am from MTD1 and I'm a beginner in this field. So is it better for me to go for some with some NGO for in development field, or taking that fellowship and do the work?
Yeah, so you have to take fellowship after the completion of first year, right? So you have semester 1 and semester 2 to wait and decide whether you have to go for NGO or whether you have to go for, and you are asking me this question today, but after 1 year, you will be telling the answer of this question by yourself only. The thing is, like, you haven't explored yet, but just be with the flow and you will get the answer by yourself only. For time being, I can let you know, like if you are having a solid idea over which you want to do your MTech project and you are very much enthusiastic about it. So what you can do, you can start finding the relevant NGOs, and these NGOs can help you to conduct your field visit and can provide you lots of data, and you can do your MTP work very conveniently in that case. If you are going with MORD, again, since MORD will not directly come to help you for doing your MTP work, they have simply provided you a topic. You will work on that particular topic. After all, you again have to go for the field visits only. So you will go to some particular field. Again, you need to take the help of NGOs only. So the NGO element is must. If you have prior experience with NGOs, or if you have done some internship with the NGOs, then it is actually always a good hand, a plus hand with you, that okay, I can also go, I can also request that particular NGO, please provide me some space for doing my MTP work also.
Aman bhai, namaskar. So my question regarding the fellowship again. So for the default fellowship, I heard that we will waste our 1 year after fellowship when we'll come back and join the placement again. So how we can counter tackle that 1 year? Like, do you have?
Okay, you mean to say like we need to, means after completing MTech, we have to go for 1 year for fellowship. And again,
Fellowship, yes. And again, coming back for placements, you will waste your 1 year because in December we will have placements and again we will have June we will have the joining. So for this 1 year, do you have any plan B?
why not? You can extend. You can request UNICEF or MORD. Can you please give me extension of 6 months? If they are very happy with the work, they will give you extension. And you know, if you are smart, if you're doing something very good for the organization, why they will let you go? That's the thing. So this is the plan B. Like you can ask for the extension for 6 months. You can say like my placements will come in the month of December. Be humble, be polite, and be truthful to them. They will trust you. And if you can, you know, keep me for this particular for 6 months, they can provide you the extension. If not, then you can join some particular NGO. You can work, or you can join some particular consultancy. You can work for 6 semesters, for 1 semester, right? So there are lots of opportunities. You know, once you are having a UNICEF or MORD tag, this tag can let you anywhere. No stop you after that. Any NGO, any consultancy firm will hire you, even for timing. For example, you have said like, okay, I have just 6 months only. They can hire you for 6 months, no issues. You will be getting a good sort of money because, you know, after getting a benchmark of 60,000 per month, it is very tough for the, you know, the former company to give you less than 60,000. So that's why they will approach you, and they know, they understand, like if MORD or UNICEF is giving 60,000, that means they are doing something which is very useful for the benefit of that particular organization or for the country. So no need to worry. Don't think in that way like, "Arey, uske baad main kya karunga?" You will always have lots of opportunities. After all, you are a IIT NER. Just accept this point. If MORD and UNICEF are not working for you, IIT tag will definitely work for you. और मैंने देखा है ना भाई, मैं जब जाता हूँ कहीं बाहर घूमने, मैं यहाँ बाहर भी निकलता हूँ भाई, लोग ऐसे देखते हैं जैसे कि मतलब कौन जा रहा है, भगवान जा रहा है क्या. So that's the thing. There is what the society and various NGOs in the society is also looking at you. They wanted these kind of talented minds such that they can work for them. I think I have addressed your query.
No, yes. No, I saw many often, you know, Sitara students, they used to face the issue when they will quit the fellowship and coming back to placement. So I'm a bit confused.
Okay. I don't know whether to use that word issues. It may not be issue. It may be their trial. They may be, you know, experimenting at their career. So it may be issue from your perspective, but maybe they have completed their fellowship. After that, they don't really they want rest. Sometimes this also happens. They want to rest. I'm done with a lot of work. I need rest, and then I will apply for placements. And so you know, you need to talk with them. And if they are calling it, yeah, it's an issue, yeah, it's a real issue, then we can consider it as an issue. To me, it's not at all an issue because lots of opportunities are waiting for us. Only thing is we should need to be very smart. We should develop several skills, and those skills should be useful to that particular internship or NGO or that particular organization. That's the requirement. So try to develop only those skills, not only those skills, you can develop every skill, but you should also, you know, keep attention on developing skills which is actually useful to the society, to the NGOs, to the consultancy firms, etc.
Okay, thank you, Aman bhai.
Okay, Ankush. So next I can see like Ankur Dubey. Yeah, he's one of my, you know, good friend. How early did you start writing your project reports? And did you use any particular software like LaTeX for it? Okay, 2 questions together. How early did you started writing your project reports? So Ankur, I started writing my project report in first semester only. And I was not aware that I was writing my project report only. I did my internship, I submitted a project report of 58 pages. Then I did my TD694, I submitted a report of 64 pages. I still remember because 4 was there after, you know, in each of the document, 4 was there actually, 54, 64. So I started writing my project report there only. And because I was completely unaware that this is going to be my MTP work. I was not knowing about it. I just kept writing. So, and I know it is a message for all the MTT1 also. When you are doing your course project, you are completely unaware that you are actually writing your MTP1 because some of the project work may turn up to be your MTP, or may not be the case. Might be you will become, you know, when you will join MTP, when the MTP1 will come into the picture, like after your TD609, then you will start writing fresh. So if you ask me when to write MTP1, so if you haven't prepared for MTP, then the right time is once after you give your proposal presentation. for the information of MTT1, you need to propose your MTP topic. And once the examination team approves your MTP topic, then and then you will start doing their work. Once you get the approval, start doing literature review. Actually, the literature review is nothing but MTP1. And this literature review becomes the foundation for MTP2 also. There are some smart students who, apart from doing literature review, also do some preliminary work for their development of product or development of software or development of some hydrological model, mathematical model, etc. So it depends upon you only. So you can start writing your, I think Ankur Dubey is in MTP, is MTT2. So I think you must have started writing. And it's better that you should start writing from today itself, if you have, you know, done. And I am sure about you are, why you're taking so much tension, you are. And another question is like, did you use any particular software like LaTeX? No. I don't, you know, use software like LaTeX. You know, this is my, you know, personal perspectives, and this is my personal comment. Don't take it seriously. I hate LaTeX. It is very cumbersome to use. I have used it for writing. It's very tedious. I don't know why I should remember, you know, the codes for making a table. Why should I remember a code for writing this thing, that thing, those things? All these things are visible in Word. Word is very best, according to me. According to me, for writing a research paper, for writing a project work, Word is best. Yeah, LaTeX is very useful when you are writing a book of 100 pages, 200 pages, 300 pages. Those, you know, those people who used to publish a book of 700 pages, LaTeX is must. But we are writing a project report. Even, you know, if you say like, okay, Aman, my MTP2 report will go as high as 120 pages. So there are several chapters. You can make an individual chapter as your, you know, Word file document. So you can make all the arrangements there itself. So I didn't use any software. I don't believe using software for writing, you know, small papers. You know, a research paper consists of 25 pages at max. A good research paper consists of, you know, 6,000 to 8,000 words. So it will, along with the images and references, it will go as high as 25 pages only. Your TD 609 and other report work, it consists of several other formalities like declaration, acknowledgement, abstract, this, that, contents are there. So again, it can increase up to 45 or 50 pages. That's it. So there is no need of, you know, using LaTeX for writing a document of 50 pages, 80 pages, or 100 pages. If you're writing a book, LaTeX is must. And it depends upon all of you. Again, another thing, LaTeX is a open source, freely available. And maybe those who don't have Word, they have to purchase Word, and Word is very costly. Under that circumstance, LaTeX is very useful because it's open source and freely available, and Word is not freely available. Neither it is open source.
Okay. So, Aman, hi.
Hi.
Thanks for answering this question. So apart from this, I have one more question. I'll ask this very bluntly. Since you got 10 out of 10 in both MTP1 and MTP2, give me a practical answer. Yeah, give me a practical answer as to what one should do to get a 10 out of 10, and what do professors actually expect. A practical answer, not like the कि पहले से करना चाहिए, नहीं ऐसा करना चाहिए, वैसा नहीं. What exactly are the metrics of defining of कि 10 में 10 मिलेगा, 10 में 9 मिलेगा, 8 मिलेगा, because the credits are too high. What exactly did you do?
Yeah, so I told you, your relation with guide decides a lot of things. So I was a very good student according to Professor Pennon, who was my guide. And I did a lot of hard work also. So he believed me, he trusted me. Also, I listened very carefully to the examiners. You know, examiners, like, for example, in my case, my examiners were Professor N.C. Narayanan. I know MTT1 will be knowing him. He's very, you know, full of knowledge, and it is very difficult to bluff him. You can't bluff. You should not bluff any professor, first of all. It's the basic rule. And bluffing Professor N.C. Narayanan is something like, you know, it's a kind of Hiroshima Nagasaki attack. Don't do that. Yeah, he will kill you, definitely, in the presentations. Another of my examiners was Professor Satish Agnihotri. So, you know, like, these both people are something kind of gem. They are expert in their field. So it's completely impossible to, bring something which is notorious to them. Then what I did is actually, I listened very carefully to the comments which they used to pass. Like, Aman, I don't see these elements in your work. Nancy Rand says, Aman, you did a good work, but where is the decentralized way of governance? Where is the public policy? Where is this, that, those? So I took very seriously to the comments of what examiners actually told me during my MTP1 session itself. So this 10 out of 10 was not so sudden. I was getting BB also during the internal presentation. Would you believe? Ankush. So Ankush, I think, Ankush is there, or Ankur is there.
Yeah, Ankur.
Ankur, yeah. So I remember once Professor Agnihotri gave me BB also. So it was not, exactly that I was getting full every time. But the thing was, when, the aftershock was very great. So whatever the inputs they asked me to incorporate, I did all those aspects. And when I came back, and so they were surprised to see the improvement. And once, our examiner sees what he wanted, he becomes happy. Also, my guide wanted some other elements. This happened with me. The examiners and the guide, whatever they were expecting, were clashing with each other. Means my guide was asking not to put this point, and examiner were asking me put this point. So this is where you have to, become smart. You have to satisfy your guide also. You have to satisfy your examiners also. So if such situation comes, you have to support your guide at the end of the day, because he is actually giving a lot of time. The whole idea is actually belongs to the guide only. So you have to listen to your guide only. And one more thing that I want for getting, good score is like, my topic was very realistic, frankly speaking. The things that I told you, like you have to listen very carefully to the examiners, and I incorporate all the corrections which were suggested by them. Apart from this is something which is always done by everybody. But what peculiar thing was, my topic was very interesting. And if you attended my MTP2 presentation, the external examiner,
Yes.
Prakash from Civil Engineering Department, you remember his comment?
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
Aman Srivastava, your topic is so novel that it should be a PhD topic. So it also depends, like if the topic with which you are working is very unique, it's not a topic which is not much traveled by, which is not much heard, something which is very unique, then it becomes, something which should be get recognized. So, it's a homework for everybody. If you want to do your MTP work, what is your topic and how much your, interest is there in that topic? So I was very much enthusiastic about my topic, and I personally feel like I worked very hard to achieve. I wanted to bring good results, and there were some very, high profile results in my work, which was recognized during the MTP work. And if I wouldn't have been given AA in MTP1 or MTP2, I wouldn't have minded much, because I was very much satisfied with my work. And we have submitted our work currently. Let us see when it will be published. I will share with all of you. I think I addressed the query of Ankur.
Yeah. Thanks, Aman.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Aman Bhai, you can read the question and answer it. Which question? Yeah. So Milind is asking one question. We are not in the campus, and due to online study work and assignment, academic load, there are limitations to engage with fellow students and seniors. So how can we explore more efficiently about internship and MTP? So yeah, I told you, like for internship, this time you will have to switch for the online internship programs only, because going on the field is something which is very risky and not I will not suggest until unless the injection of vaccination should come. And about MTP, yes, for MTP what requires is literature review. Literature review is nothing but you need to explore all the published research papers, former reports of the seniors regarding their TT 609, MTP1, MTP2, and start getting in touch with your seniors. You can directly call them. Getting a contact number of your seniors is very easy. So Milind, you don't need to worry. And you asked one more thing, like we are not in the campus and due to online study work and assignments, there are limitations to engage with fellow students. So no issues. You can still engage with your fellow students via WhatsApp. And very important thing is you should be stable. Whatever the assignments that is given to you, just assume it like you are in the campus and you have to do it. So just start exploring. This is don't look at this scenario as it is why this happened actually, but look this as a kind of opportunity. This is the opportunity for you. Being with your parents, being at home, and still you are at IIT Bombay, and you are doing a lot of assignments and a lot of works. So, keep yourself enthusiastic, keep working. And we all are here actually. All the seniors are here for you. Your colleagues are there with you. And all are virtually are helping you actually. So just be stable. And I told you, just find someone who is reliable and who can listen to you. Your parents or your friends, and everything will be resolved. Next is, thanks someone useful, Pete. Okay, thank you. What is your topic? Someone asked me what was my topic. Okay, someone is asking me what was my topic. So my topic was, let me recall the exact sentence, exact phrase of my topic. It was study of spatio-temporal variability of water balance in the semi-arid region of southern India. This was my topic. I will repeat again. Study of spatio-temporal variability of water balance in the semi-arid regions of southern India. This was my topic basically, and I did my field study at Madurai in Tamil Nadu. And I am from Bihar, so the people of Tamil Nadu appreciated me a lot because you left your state, you came here, and you did this work. And I tried learning Tamil also. What a kind of. So this actually worked and helped me also. So I think I have answered all the questions. Still, if somebody wanted to ask question,
Yes.
I'm still available.
I think we are done questions. Do anyone have a question? Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah. You are audible.
So I think done with the questions. So one from whole MTD1 and MTD2 actually helped both of our batch MTD1 and MTD2 for experience and the things to do and things not to do. So we'll really try to implement in our academics. So thank you, Aman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Subhanan. And
Yeah.
at the end, I must, I will request you that the take-home message should be remembered all the time. So first thing is that you don't need to take stress.
Yeah, sure.
And this is a kind of flow. You are in the flow and just start flowing and exploring whatever is there on the way. Just try to learn it, and everything will be sorted at the end. This is keep yourself positive all the time, and you will come to the IIT Bombay for sure. You just see, we were virtually convocated. Convocation is such a very important event of our institute, and we were virtually convocated for the first time. We missed our convocation. You missed your first semester, so no need to worry. You both MTD1 and we people are on the same stage. We will meet someday. Okay, Shivanand.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
People are making me overwhelmed by their responses. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
And you were a very nice audience. MTD1 was very nice actually. And thank you for spending
Thank you,
this
Aman.
time with me. Okay.
Thank you so much, Aman, for all the time and all the exposure, especially on this side.
So we'll end this session here. Thank you people for joining this year.